Alright, in this video what I'll be doing is a heuristic walkthrough or a heuristic analysis of the PIVX Mobile wallet that is available on the Google Play Store for any device operating the Android operating system. First thing I want to do is go into the Google Play Store and find the wallet itself and go ahead and download that. Alright, so that's installed and loaded. So the first screen here, Private Instant Verified Transaction is a privacy-focused, decentralized, open-source cryptocurrency run by a global community comprised of creators, innovators, and technology enthusiasts. So it looks like I have two options here. I have the option to create a new wallet or to restore a wallet. So my first kind of question going into this is knowing what I know about PIVX is that it is a stakeable cryptocurrency, meaning that if you have a wallet that you leave open and connected to the network in a staking mode, that you are able to earn essentially more PIV or ZPIV, depending on which version you are staking, as you for keeping that wallet open. What I don't know here, what is not conveyed to me here, is whether or not if I were to restore a wallet here, if that wallet, like something that I might have already going, would be capable of staking. I don't know if mobile staking is possible with this particular wallet. So kind of going into this, I'm curious about those options, if that is a possibility. So I guess it's applicable to both whether I create a wallet or if I restore a wallet. The reason I'm saying this is that I do currently have a wallet that I'm using to stake. I have that on my PC. Or my desktop computer. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new wallet and go through the process of doing that. Okay, so here we have a little bit of intro here. PIVX is secure. First code with BIP38 encryption and decryption of private keys. 60-second block time, already very fast. PIVX transactions using SwiftX are instant with zero confirmation wait time required. So it's a nice little overview of things that PIV provides you. Extremely secure and private. PIVX is aiming its sights on establishing the first truly anonymous cryptocurrency. Trusted Nodes Federation. Trusted Nodes Federations make light POS wallets possible. You can rely on them to create your own trusted node. All right, so start. Up here's an option of add node. I'm curious what that means. You can select one of the node available or add one. Should this be plural? Can you select one of the nodes available or add one? How many nodes are available here? Node, PIVX Wiki. See, I'm not as technologically literate, I should say, in terms of what these things mean. I'm not sure what this information here means. Now, if you were a developer or someone who is much more involved in that kind of community with PIV, I'm sure that makes complete sense to you. However, if you are kind of like a regular noob or someone who's been doing this, but like not necessarily as involved in the technological aspect of things, like for me, I just, I either purchase or I earn PIV, and I put them into a wallet and that I keep open for staking, but I'm not quite sure what this stuff means here. So though I am just one person, and of course like a golden rule in any user experience design is understanding that you are not your user, and so I don't have evidence that this would be a problem for other people, though I am just speculating based off the fact that, if I have been doing this for a while now, and I don't know really what this stuff entails, someone that's new to this and coming into it probably won't either. So I'm not quite sure exactly what this stuff means. So add a node. Let's see what this takes you to. Host. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go down that path as I'm not exactly sure what that is. If if I do find out at a later point in time what this stuff means, I'll actually look into it because I am curious. I'll go back through this process and kind of talk about that process. So then there's also select node here, which is probably an option if you were to choose something that drops down there. For your security pin code is needed. So that would have, interesting, so that takes me back to that. All right, let's go back through that again. I want to see that one more time. So you hit create wallet, it takes you through this tutorial here that you can skip. I will say that in terms of, you have these things called onboarding, applications. You see this a lot where they give you a quick tutorial. Sometimes they'll have little things that go around an interface and say, oh, if you click on this, this is what this does. So this is good to have this for newbies to come through and understand what this stuff is. However, what I would like to see here, and I'm not sure if you would see it later on, is more information about what, I know that this stuff is important, but more information about how to set up the wallet, perhaps have diagrams. One thing that I feel is missing quite a bit with a lot of things in the cryptocurrency space or the blockchain space is visual elements to help build a mental model in the minds of new users. What is going on? What does this actually do in terms of its connection with everything else in the blockchain? And I find that you use these. I gotta figure out how to make this Samsung not turn off. You have these buzzwords, secure and private, but unless you have a deep understanding of the blockchain and cryptocurrency, this stuff might not make sense. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that this tutorial could be for a lot of people it's not going to inform them of anything that's needed for them to better establish a better mental model of what this stuff is. I know that with the main thing around PIV is that it is a privacy coin, but perhaps explaining that in more detail as to why it is private, what it means to be private, would be nice. Explaining what are the benefits, not just explaining that it is private or pushes privacy, but exactly what are the benefits of that, and perhaps what makes that different from other cryptocurrencies in terms of maybe not getting too much into the details of the technological aspect of it, but kind of if you can figure out a way to visualize it in some sort of diagram form, that would be good. Because remember, you're dealing with people who aren't necessarily tech savvy. Their minds aren't going to understand that, but they will get it at a high level if you can explain it to them in some sort of visualized way. All right, so there's this thing that we saw earlier, this add node, and you come in here, and let's say that I accidentally hit select node instead of going back. It takes me here to create a pin. If I go back here, it doesn't, what I saw earlier is it doesn't take me back to that initial screen. That secondary screen that's saying choose node, it takes me back here. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's some sort of bug, but to me, what should happen is if I create wallet, let's just say I go to next, add node, and I choose this, and let's say I accidentally picked the wrong one, and I hit select node, and as I do that, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't mean to pick that one, let me go back. I would imagine that it should take me back to that page of being able to choose a node, not back to this main kind of a home screen or this initial screen. Let's go back to the create wallet thing. Next. Start. Okay, so I got to create a pin code regardless. Okay. So I'm going to create a pin code now. All right, so here comes the mnemonic code. Please write this in a safe place in a horizontal order. You'll need them to restore your wallet. Don't share this words to anybody. It should be these words. Okay, so there's a grammatical thing here for English. Don't share these words with anybody. Be careful. Whoever has these words is the owner of the coins. Okay, so they do need to make some changes to the grammar here. Also, they talk about writing this in a safe place and horizontal order. One thing that I have noticed with wallets, when you encrypt them and you use this particular these passphrases, is that often to go back and either one, verify that you have written them down, or two, when you want to put them in to do something, it will ask you for the first, the third, the fifth, the seventh word, right? I'm not sure if that's the case here. And that's what they mean by place in horizontal order. And what they kind of mean by that is like put them in order so that you know which one is first, which one is second, which one is third, because they might be asking about what is the actual number of that word. What's the first word, or what's the fifth word. I've seen that paradigm with a lot of wallets. Ledger, I believe, does that as well. If you want to restore a wallet using the words or something, they just ask you for a few of the words. And so I guess what I'm getting at here is I don't know if they're going to ask for those words in that way in the future. However, I do think that it might be good practice to always have words in numerical order and with numbers, and to indicate to the user to write down those words in numerical order, because you might need to be asked about those numbers later. It's just good practice to do that, because that's how other wallets are doing it, and I gotta figure out how to make this thing not turn off. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that real fast. This is my first Android device, so I've always used Apple iOS devices. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go grab a note card so that I can write these words down, and I'm going to do them in numerical order and keep their numbers next to them, even though it's not being displayed here. So let me go find a pen. I'll be right back. All right, so I've written these words down. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. One of the most important parts of a mobile wallet is the backup. Do you want to do it now? All right, I'm going to go ahead and back it up. OK. Your backup will be encrypted with the password you choose and saved to an external storage drive. All right, so I got to put in a password now. Verify it. So one little thing that I've always liked with entering a password and then confirming it when it's on the same page is having some sort of visual indicator that the password you've put in matched. It's a little thing. Like a lot of times it's not really that big of a deal, but it's like small things like that that can provide nice feedback to the user. That what they've done matches, because they're not going to be able to see that they match visually, because you have the dots or the asterisks in place of the actual characters. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. Backup wallet. Okay, so it's been saved on my actual device. Okay. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm back here. I'm not sure why it took me to this. Why did it take me to this screen and not to another screen going, like maybe the dashboard or something? All right, so I've already done this. I've already written these things down. All right, so now that I hit OK, boom, now I'm finally in here on the main wallet. Okay. I'm just going to kind of click around and see what we got going on here. Here's your menu. So you got my wallet, my address book, settings, backup wallet, restore wallet, export account, watch only mode, change pin code, change trusted node, reset blockchain, splash video and sound, currency rate, tutorial, network monitor, report issue support, and donations. So you can actually donations help with the maintenance and development of the app. Thanks in advance. I'm going to donate right amount to send. All right, and then back to my wallet. It says no connections. What does that mean? What does it mean that I have no connections? How do I make a connection? All right, so this must be so you can do a QR code. How do you get out of this? How do I get out of taking this QR code? Right now you can't see anything because I've got this device thing on the back of it. Maybe you can kind of see that there is, the camera facing backwards there, the backwards facing camera. How do you get out of this? I don't know what I just did. Okay, well I have to close out the app and come back into it in order to get out of that mode. And for some reason it brought me back into settings mode rather than taking me back to my wallet pages, which I had started with by clicking on that. I click on this one here, what happens? Okay, so this is a quick access to your address so that you can copy it, I like that, or share it out. What options are there for share? Nice, okay. Cool. I like this part here. One thing that I've noticed with when you think about the mechanics that go into receiving funds to a wallet or sending funds to an account in order to pay for something, it's not like a bank account or a payment gateway that you are used to where you put in your account credentials, like your card number, whatever, and basically what happens is that then goes to your bank and says, okay, let's send this amount of money to the recipient. You don't have the ability to do that. What you have to do is go to your wallet where you're holding the funds you want to send and plug in the information rather than using a proxy like a credit card or debit card number. And so it's very important to make it easy to get information out to other people, be able to, or to get it to another device in which you might have your wallet from which you want to send funds. And so having really good share features, the ability to quickly, say here's the QR code or the wallet address that I need to send funds to. I need to get that information to a device that contains the wallet which has the funds. Having a way to do that very quickly by I'm going to send an email to it, or I'm going to send a message to be able to get that moved to that device. Providing those options is really nice. All right, so let me go back here. All right, and what does this do? Payment request or send. I'm curious why this information is not kind of along with this. Again, I am one person. My mental model may not be the same as other people's. However, I would see the information regarding sending funds, requesting funds, and receiving funds to all be kind of in the same category, right? It's the options for moving funds from point A to point B. However, here you only have in this one plus the ability to send or request payments, and the shortcut to getting your receiving information is up here. address. So that's a label. Amount, PIV, and it's the label there, okay. So it wasn't immediately kind of obvious that that was something that's clickable that you would, be able to write in. But now, I mean, that I see it, I can see that's the label. That's the label. What does this add all mean? Oh, okay, so that's a max. Yeah, I would assume that if, not assume, but my suggestion is if this add all is what I think it is, which means that it says however much you have in your account, just throw the whole thing in there. A more standard way that I've seen that being done across wallets is having a max option where it's like you click a button here that says max and that puts it all in. This add all might be confusing because it's a little bit different wording. It's out of place in terms of it's not in line with the amount here. You might also want to be able to provide the user with an idea of how much money they do have available in their account so they know what max is. So if I go back here and I go to send and I come in here, I don't know how much is available in my actual account. So if I hit add all, that would reveal what that is, but it might be good to kind of have that feedback provided to the user here in order to say, if I hit add all, how much is that going to be? How much do I actually have in my account to be able to add all? Payment request, okay, amount there, description, add a description. And what happens next here? One. Next. Test. Done. Okay, so the request is a scan request. That's interesting. So you can't send this request anywhere. So if you think about kind of the mechanics that go into this situation here in terms of requesting information, what I'm seeing here is the ability for you to say, hey, I want someone to send me a certain amount of money. I put that in here. It's like, it's one PIV. And then you can have the ability to add test, add a description, and then you hit done. And what you then do is hit request. Okay, great. Scan request. That means that somebody has to be right next to you in order to scan that to receive that request. And I understand that there is that possibility of having that situation where like two people are within physical range of one another in order for the other, person A to put this in and then person B to come in and scan it. However, what happens if I want to request a payment from somebody who is not right next to me? If I wanted to send that request to somebody else that's is not physically located right next to me, someplace else, is there the option to be able to get that sent out someplace, just like we had the ability to send and share your receiving address with people? Is there the ability to do that same with this? I think that would be maybe a good thing to provide there. Because if you're requesting something, okay, I'm requesting this, but limiting it to only having the ability to request it from someone who's standing like right next to you so they can scan that seems a bit limiting. All right, so I'm going to exit out of this. Okay. I'm still seeing this wallet, no connections here. Now, one thing that I've really liked about the PIV desktop wallet, which I'll bring up here because it does provide a good reference. I'll throw this over here. Is these icons down in the bottom right corner. I really like these because not only do they provide you with information about what is going on, and this is what we refer to as good visibility into system status. It allows you to see what's going on with the wallet. You can also click on them, which then provides you quick access to specific things that you can do within the wallet here. What I'm not seeing here is that within this wallet is some sort of visual indication of what's going on in terms of the wallet being connected to the network, the wallet being locked or unlocked, or how many network connections that you have. I don't see that information. All I do see here is no connection. and there's no, I can't click on that to find out what that means. Whereas if I was actually in the wallet, on the desktop version, you could probably do that with these icons here. So there's a lack of consistency across the wallet. So that's another one of these usability heuristics that I'm kind of referencing here. So I talked about visibility of system status, and now also consistency and standards. Between these wallets, across devices, across these different wallets, there should be a good consistency in terms of the various elements that you're going to be interacting with. And not knowing here, I don't find that there's good visibility into system status in terms of like whether or not the wallet's actually working. Is it connected? I get this, but I'm not sure what that is. And there's also none of these icons to help me kind of see, okay, things are connected, let me get information about it. That's not available either. So I'm finding that there is a slight lack in terms of visibility in the system status, and also consistency across the different PIV wallets in terms of the desktop wallet now versus the mobile wallet. I do like the aesthetic and minimalist design that's going on here. That's good. That's another one of these heuristics here. And by the way, these 10 usability heuristics for interface design were put forth by the Nielsen-Norman Group. I suggest checking out their website if you ever have any questions about good design practices. Nielsen-Norman Group. And so these usability heuristics are kind of they're guidelines, they're best practices. Like, you want to think of them when designing something and kind of running through them to make sure that if I feel like we're covering these things, then the design should be, good enough. It doesn't mean that, they're the be all end all. It's just that if you follow these rules about your design, then you at least know that you're on the right path with things. All right, so let's see here what I want to check out next. Let's go into settings here. So we backed up the wallet earlier. We haven't restored a wallet. Watch only mode, change pin code, change trusted node, reset blockchain. Tutorial. Let's check out this tutorial. Oh, this tutorial. We've already been through this tutorial. Yeah, and I find that this tutorial is limiting in terms of how much information is being provided about what is actually going on the wallet. Honestly, what I feel this is, it's more of a sales pitch about PIV. Like, oh, look at these great things, it's secure, 60-second block time, extremely secure and private, trusted node federation, whatever that means. Nothing in this tutorial about how this wallet actually works, about what it is that you can, do within it, and where to go find things. I would love to have a tutorial on, what these various things actually do, these different options, especially like how do you know if the damn thing is connected? This thing says no connection, but I don't see anything in here that would allow me to figure out or how to troubleshoot that particular situation. And so that's another one of these usability heuristics that you want to make sure that you follow. One is, help and documentation. Even though it's better if the system can be used without documentation, it may be necessary to provide help and documentation. Any such information should be easy to search, focused on the user's task, list concrete steps to be carried out, and not be too large. And I'm just not finding any kind of quick access to help and documentation here. And also, you get into this thing about help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. See, I see this as a potential error. No connections. From my understanding about how wallets work, they have to be connected to the network, right? This has no connection. I am confused. How do I actually make it connected? There's nothing here to help me kind of figure that out or see how to make that work. So I'm clicking on support, but I'm getting the send report using. So these Okay, report issue. Please describe your issue precisely enough to be reproduced. So if I click on report issue, that comes up. But if I click on support, the thing says send report using. So I'm not sure what that means. If I click on support, I would imagine that's some sort of way to either talk to somebody, access some sort of help and documentation, troubleshooting. However, it seems to me when I bring this up, send report using, it gives me options to send a report. I'm not sure what that means. I'm gonna click on Gmail to see what happens here. Okay, and it will send an email directly to someone. I don't quite understand what the difference between this really is and reporting issue. So reporting issue seems like it's a bit more specific, right? And you can send it. And support, like, is essentially the same thing. You're reporting something, but it allows you to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you describe the issue. And you also seem to have an email address you send it directly to. I'm not sure what would happen if I hit the report issue. Who's that going to? Who gets to see it? Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pause the cameras for now, and perhaps return later with a bit more questions and do a bit more investigation. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go back through here, and I'm going to choose the restore wallet pathway with the PIVX wallet here, and use the mnemonic words, the passphrase words that I got from going through the first time to restore the wallet, just to kind of see what that whole process is like. So instead of hitting create wallet, I'm going to hit restore wallet. All right, so it brings me to select one of your backup files loaded from folder download. Okay, allow PIVX wallet to access photos, media files on your device. Allow. Okay. That's weird. I don't know what I just put in there. Was that the file it needed? I didn't catch what that said. I'm just curious what that was. If it said select one of your backups. Okay, I'm assuming that this field said select backup. I didn't know if it was something else I was supposed to put in there. I didn't catch what the label was. I'm sure I can just go back and look at the video recording. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my password. So it's not asking me for my list of words quite yet. It is asking me for this password that I created. So let me put that in. Okay, so I've entered that and hit restore wallet. Wallet was restored. Your wallet was successfully restored. Its balance will be determined next. This will take some time. Okay. All right, so then it takes me back to this tutorial screen again. I'm not sure why things keep defaulting back to this tutorial. Skip. For your security, a PIN code is needed. All right, so is this the PIN code that I put in the first time through, or am I creating a new PIN code? All right, so now I'm getting these mnemonic codes again. That is the same words from before. It's the exact same words from before. I'm not sure why it's asking me or providing this information to me again. And would I have been able to move into this step if I didn't enter in the correct password from last time? See, I'm not sure what information is being tied to that previous wallet that I created in the previous recording. I put in a PIN code. It was the same one from last time. I'm just curious if I put in something different, would it have been like, that's not the right one? or is it just choosing this to be a new one? That information is not being provided to me as feedback within the system here. All right, so I've already written all these things down. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, backup reminder. The most important parts of the Windows backup. Do you want to do it now? I've already done that. I just used the backup, so I'm going to dismiss that. And that lands me back here on this wallet screen. Okay. Interesting. No connection. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off at this point. All right, so I wanted to come back and kind of readdress this issue of the wallet with no connection, as you see here. After kind of thinking it through a little bit in terms of the things I saw in the settings menu, as well as what I saw in the intro kind of steps to setting up the wallet, I believe that the nodes, or selecting a node, had a lot to do with establishing some sort of connection to the larger network. So I'm back in settings here, and there's this option of change trusted node, and I want to come in here and select one to choose, and then see if that changes the connection issue. So I'm going to go with this node, pivxwiki.org, and then hit select node, and that now brings me back into my wallet. If I open up here, it has changed. Look at that. So wallet syncing 41%, and it looks like there's some information going on over here as well. The wallet is out of sync. Some transactions may be missing. Please wait until the sync process is finished. Sync process finishes to see your current balance. Okay, so we're in the state of syncing at 41%. There's no indication of kind of maybe how long that might be. No progress bar or anything, which is good to kind of maybe estimate how long it's going to take for this to finish syncing. Though it jumped from 41 to 42 there pretty quickly. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to do that. So I guess what I maybe should do is let it sit for a little while and continue doing this, and then come back to it once it has finished syncing and see if there's any changes with the interface that occurs once syncing has completed. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the cameras for now and then come back once this is done syncing. Okay, so I'm returning to the PIVX Mobile wallet to see if the syncing process has completed. In my kind of previous recording on this, I left off after I had changed the nodes connected to a node and the syncing process had begun. So I've just let it sit, and now I'm returning to the wallet to see how it's doing. So I'm bringing the device back online. Opening up, first thing I'm seeing here is a backup reminder. So I'm not sure when this happened here, but I'm going to go ahead and dismiss that. And I can see that the wallet currently has no connection. So I left it syncing, and somehow it has stopped syncing according to the bit of information that's being provided to me here. I'm not sure why. I can go back to settings here. As you saw, like, well, that blue thing was gone now. I was wondering if that had given any information or new information, but I've lost it. I can go back and record it and see. But all right, so no connection. Let's go back to settings, and as we did last time, change trusted node. Interesting, there's two of them now. Why are there two? Why are there two of these node pivxwiki.org? There wasn't two of those last time. Let's choose one of them and hit select node. And we're back to syncing, and we're syncing at 41%. So it's going right back to the 41%. So something's happened here when I've let this device just sit, it goes into sleep mode. Somehow that's cut off the syncing process. I'm not sure what about the Android operating system caused that to happen. Maybe it's not the Android operating system. Maybe it has something to do with the wallet. I'm not sure the technical reason, but whatever happened, it caused the wallet to stop syncing. But if I go back to settings and change to a different one of these trusted nodes, oh, now we've got three of them. All right, so there's something going on here where every time you go back and try to reconnect to a different node, the previous one you use is being duplicated. So I'm not really sure what's causing that. Let's see if I have to do this again. Now there's 4 of them. Yeah, this is a little bit beyond me as to what could possibly be happening here. All I know is that when I connected it to sync with the blockchain and left it to sync, coming back and checking in on it, like it's stopped syncing, and now there's this weird kind of bug going on where I'm just seeing multiple listings of the same node. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the cameras, and I think that this might conclude my session with the PIVX Mobile wallet.